Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Sergio Barron. We back again with another tutorial. Today it's gonna be on a taper fade, and yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of a faux hawk on top, and on the sides I did run a 2 on the top. A 2 on the sides, and I faded it up into the faux hawk. And yeah, I put a little bit of a slow motion clips in there. That way I could explain myself a little bit better to y'all. And yeah, let's get to it. Oh, and I know we're still undergoing that whole quarantine and that stay home thing. So I hope everybody out there is making the best out of it. And I hope everybody out there is staying safe. We're gonna get through it because we have to get through it. What do I know? I'm just a barber. But yeah, let's get to it. Oh, and before I forget, I'd like to mention we did get our merch in. We have the Faded Culture hats. We have the Faded Culture t-shirts. We got them in black and white. And we also got some hoodies if y'all like to check them out. If y'all do, I'll leave a link down in the description for y'all. And yeah, just let me know what y'all think. Let's get it. I'll start working on the faux hawk, mohawk, whatever y'all want to call it, and I'll start with doing a little bit of scissor work. I do a finger length on this haircut, and what I do here is I'll do one section at a time, about a finger length in separation, and then a finger length in length as far as I'll cut. I start from the back, work my way up as I'm doing here, and yeah, just taking a little section at a time. That way everything just flows consistently. And once my guide is set, now I'll start again from the back. And now basically from the sides of the mohawk, what I'm doing is just cutting up kind of like in a triangle type of way. And yeah, I'm just kind of trimming up into the mohawk. Come in with the 2.5, and I'm gonna taper up into the mohawk a little bit, because on this haircut I'm gonna do a 2 on the sides, but I like to start with a higher guard and then fade up into the mohawk, and then I'll come back down and hit it with the 2. Is with the 3.5 guard, I'm gonna taper up into the top of the mohawk already, just basically blending and tapering out the 2.5 up into the mohawk. Finally come in with the 2 and just take out everything under the 2.5. come in with my Sub-Zero style liners, and I'm gonna set my first guideline here. And all I'm doing here is like with a C motion, just kind of lightly putting in my first guideline. Then I'm gonna come in with my wall seniors, open lever, and I'm gonna set my second guideline just the same way I set down the first initial one, just with a C motion, coming up about an inch high. And here to finish setting the last guideline, I'll come in with the 1.5. That's the one with open lever, and I'll do the same thing, coming up about another inch high. And now that my 3 guidelines are set, I'm gonna come and start fading them down, starting from the top. I open the lever all the way with this 1.5 guard, and then I close it a little bit, which equivalates to like about 3/4 open, and I'll start working out, taking out that top section. That's that top guideline that I had left. When I'm blending out these guidelines, I kind of like to think that I'm only using the top left 3 to 4 teeth of my clipper. I don't like to lay down the full clipper. Yeah, it kind of just helps get in there a little bit more detailed, so to speak. And yeah, I do that with all the guidelines as far as when it comes to blending them out. And now I'm gonna come in with my half guard, open it up the same way I did the 1.5. I'll open this one up about 3/4, and then I'll do the exact same thing, taking out that second guideline I had left behind. And now I'm gonna come in with my 1 guard, and this time I'm gonna open it the same way I did the last 2, 3/4 open, and I'm gonna take out that dark section that's left above. And the same way, just using the left 3 to 2 corner teeth of the clipper, and I'll keep working at it till I finish blending that out. Next, I'll come in with the clipper with no guards, starting with the 0, then I open it halfway, and then all the way to finish taking out that last guideline we left behind. You see right here, it's closed all the way, and then I open it right here halfway, and then you'll see me open it all the way to finish blending up. And here I feel like I left a little bit of dark spots, so I'm gonna come in with a half guard again, and I'll open it about 3/4, and I'm gonna pick at it a little bit here and there until I feel, everything's well blended. And it's always gonna be like this. Every head is gonna vary depending on head shapes and whatnot. So if you feel you need to go back and take out dark spots, then do so. Do whatever it takes. Every haircut's like a a tailored haircut for that person. And yeah, and after that, I'll come in with the Sub-Zero and the shaver just to finish blending out the whole taper. Now that the right side of the taper is finished, we'll move on to the left side doing the exact same steps. And yeah, just here laying down the first guideline with the Sub-Zeros. Next, as we did before, I'll come in with the open lever and no guard, which is a half, and I'm gonna come up about an inch. Next, I'm gonna use the 1.5, that's the 1 guard with the open lever, and come up about another inch. And now, as we did before, using the sides of the clipper, faintly here, just picking out with a C motion that top guideline, and we're gonna keep working against the grain until we get it out as smooth as possible as we can get it. Now we'll come in again doing the same thing with the half guard, open lever to about 3/4, using the exact same technique we did to take out the above guideline. Next, I'll come in with the one guard open to about 3/4, and I'll finish blending up into the two. And here I'm gonna come in with the clipper with no guards closed all the way, that's a 0, and pick at the bottom guideline, kind of thinking of it as an eraser, so to speak, and yeah, just kind of erasing out that first guideline we left. And here again, I felt like I left a little bit of dark spots, so I'll come in with my half guard again, open it up to about 3/4, and pick at it. And then last, I'll just come in with the sub-zero and the shaver just to finish out the left side of the taper. Also guys, when I'm using the shaver, I think of it as another clipper. I come up kind of like in a C motion as I'm coming up to that first guideline. Just so y'all keep that in mind. And now finally we'll move on to the back of the head, doing the back taper. And this is where I usually set my guideline. The first guideline, I'll start from the left side or the right side of the head and kind of like measure myself based on the ears, and I just kind of make the guidelines meet on both ends. Then I'll do the same, come in with the half, that's a clipper, no guard, open lever, and I'm gonna come up about 1 inch. Next I'll come in with the 1.5, that's the 1 guard, open lever all the way, and come up about another inch. Now that my 3 guidelines are set, I'll start erasing that top guideline here with the 1.5 guard, open to about 3/4. I'll work from my left side all the way to the right side. And for the back side of the taper, I like to think of it as 3 sections since it's a longer workspace when it comes to blending it all out. So I like to think that I start with my left side, then I'll do the middle side, and then I do the right side, or vice versa, whatever. But kind of just break it down into sections, that way you don't get overwhelmed with the whole fading process. So here I'll come in with the half guard and do the same thing. I started here in the middle, blending out that middle guideline, then I do the left side, then I do the right side. Either way, whatever works. But yeah, just with the same steps or motions that we were doing in the front tapers, just kind of with a C motion, just picking out at the line until you get it out. Then I'll come in with the 1.5, open to about 3/4, and finish blending up. Take out that last guideline. I'll come in with the 0, and then I open it halfway, and then I open the lever all the way. And like I said, I'll work in sections. I start in here with the right side. I'll keep picking at it until I get it all out before moving on to the middle section, and then following along with the left section just to finish the whole taper. blend is done, I'll come in and take out that excess hair that was left under. I'll start trimming it down with the Sub-Zero, and then I'll come in with the shaver just to blot it all out and get it nice and clean. And then with the shaver, I'll shave against the grain just to get it real nice and close to the skin, and I'll feel with my fingers too just to see if I left any hair behind, just to kind of get it real or as bald as possible. And sometimes with the shaver, you'll leave a little faint line behind, and you come in with your sub-zeros and just pick at it just to really tighten up the whole blend. And now that the whole blend is laid down, we'll come in with the liners and clean up all the edges. Here, I mean, you just gotta use the corner of the clippers just to get as detailed as possible, staying as close to the edge as possible. And yeah, as you're doing this, it's good to just keep combing the hair down, that way you don't leave any little hairs behind. By now, if y'all seen my previous videos, y'all know I'm a big fan of spritz. So here I'm gonna apply a little bit just to kind of lock the hair in place before I come in here with my detailers and finish edging up the forehead. Now here, when doing your lineup, I like to do a little section at a time, and be sure you step back a lot, that way you don't lose sight of how your lineup is coming along. And then yeah, just work your way to both edges of the forehead. Here I'm doing a little part for my client, just kind of alongside of the mohawk. I'll come in with my straight razor. First I'll apply some type of lubrication. First I hit it, going with the grain, and then I'll come against the grain just to get even closer. Now here behind the ears can get a little tricky sometimes. You're more susceptible to cutting your client if you're not careful. So just be sure you stretch the skin really tight and take your time. That way you don't cut anybody. Here I'll come in with the foreguard just to clean up his beard. I'll give it several passes just to really get it nice, even and clean all around. And now here I'm gonna come in and taper out each side of the beard, and then I'll come in with my liners, do a little bit of detail work before I come in with my straight razor and finish cleaning everything up. like to envision where the lineup is gonna be, and then I'll go straight to there, or I'll consult with the client and see where he wants the lineup to be. And then yeah, I'll lay it down right there first, and then I'll come in and shave against the grain the rest of the hair. Pretty much done. I'll dust off my client before applying some hair enhancements. And as far as the hair enhancements, you know, that's all preference. Some people want them, some people don't, so that's up to you or up to the client. And but yeah, this is what I like to use. Sometimes I use the hair fibers, but on this cut I'm using the Kiss Express semi-permanent dye. I put it in the airbrush machine and just kind of lightly put it on just on the edges. And here I'm gonna just come back in with a straight razor, one last pass, just to tighten up all the little details. So that's it for this tutorial, guys. Here I'll come in last with a little bit of pomade just to bring up the faux hawk and kind of make the whole haircut pop overall. So that's it for my tutorial, guys, on the bald taper fade with the faux hawk. Hopefully y'all guys liked it, and hopefully y'all are able to take home some tips and a few of my steps to help y'all improve y'all skills. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. Until next time, my name is Sergio Barron. This is Faded Culture. I'm out.